Welcome to Enrollment on Demand. In this video, learn how to complete the Electronic Funds Transfer EFT Authorization Agreement CMS 588 paper form. While this tutorial focuses on the paper form, all information needed to complete the form is the same as when completing the agreement in PAYCOS. Following these step-by-step instructions when submitting the EFT will help you avoid delays in the processing of your application. The information given in this training is correct as of today. The most current information contained in this presentation can be found on the Noridian Medicare and CMS websites at the links listed on this slide. The CMS 588 form is a required agreement completed by organizations that submit the CMS 855A, 855B, or 855I applications for enrolling as institutions, clinics, or groups, sole owners, and sole proprietors. The CMS 588 form is submitted for initial enrollments or for reporting a change to the Electronic Funds Transfer Agreement and account information. The information is a legal agreement that instructs the Medicare contractor on bank account information for electronic transfer of claim payments, telling them where to submit payments. In respect to revalidations, the Medicare administrator contractors would like you to review the information on the enrollment record for accuracy. If the information is missing or inaccurate, corrections should be made. The form may be completed with the paper application or with the PAYCOS web application. The enrollment tutorial refers to the paper version of the CMS 588. The same information is reported in PAYCOS web EFT applications. The most current paper form can be downloaded from either the CMS or Noridian websites. On Noridian's website landing page, as listed on the slide, select the jurisdiction and line of business for your specific situation. The CMS 588 form is on the Forms page. It can also be accessed through the Enrollment page. For accuracy, type all information. To access the form on the CMS website, in the search function, type the word Enrollment Forms. The CMS 588 is listed on the screen. Part 1 of the form collects the reason for the submission of the Electronic Funds Transfer Agreement. Select the applicable reason. The home office of chain organization is mostly for Part A institutions with a chain home office. The same information is collected in PAYCOS as part of the questionnaire when creating the application. If the institution is selecting chain home office, then an authorization letter is required that is signed by the chain home office administrator and the institution's authorized official. In Part 2, the account holder information is collected. Enter the legal business name of the organization as it appears on the entity's IRS document, CP575, LTR 147C, or 501C3. The legal name reported in the form must match exactly, which includes all abbreviations, punctuation, and spaces. No doing business as DBA is reported because the form has no field for that information. If the account holder is a sole proprietor, the name reported should match the name on file with the Social Security Administration. Add the name of the chain home office if applicable. Continuing in Part 2, add the account holder's address. Make sure a physical address is used, as a post office box is not accepted. Report the tax identification number or employee identification number of the account holder institution, organization, or sole owner. A sole proprietor will enter a Social Security number. Designate whether the number entered is an SSN or EIN. The last portion of this section requires entering the Type 2 MPI for the organization or the Type 1 MPI of the sole proprietor. At least one NPI must be entered for the form to be processed. Existing accounts will have a Medicare ID that can be entered. List the ones that associate to the Electronic Funds Transfer Agreement. If completing the form for a Part A institution, each Medicare ID will require its own form. The information may not be combined on one form. Part B organizations, sole owners, and sole proprietors may combine Medicare IDs on the form if all are in one state with the same enrollment and tax ID number. This completes Part 2. Please proceed to Part 3. Part 3 collects the banking institution's information. Match the bank name found on a voided check or bank letter of your entity. Add the address of the financial institution in Part 3. The address must be a physical address and not a P.O. box. As a best practice, add the bank contact and phone number, as there are times the Medicare Administrative Contractor, MAC, may need to contact the bank. Reporting the routing number and the account number, along with the type of account, are the final entries in this section. These numbers inform the Medicare contractor where to send the payments for services rendered by the organization. To ensure that monies go to the correct bank account, it is important to be exact in entering this information. Include any leading zeros when entering the numbers. Best practice is to double and triple check what has been entered, as it is easy to transpose or make errors. This completes Part 3. Please proceed to Part 4. Part 4 adds the contact person for the organization. This person should be someone who may discuss the organization's financials with Medicare. Enter the contact person's name, title, telephone number, and email address. An authorized official for your organization must sign in Part 5. Print the individual's name, add a telephone number where this person may be reached, add the title and a good email address. The authorized official must sign and date the form. As the sole owner of the organization, the role of authorized official goes to the owner. For the sole proprietor, the authorized signature should be signed by the individual having ownership. The form is now complete and ready to be submitted to the Medicare contractor. A good practice is to double check that the account holder name, the routing number, and the account number match what is on the supporting documents. As stated earlier, same information supplied on the paper version is needed for PAYCOS. If submitting through PAYCOS for an initial enrollment, complete the EFT section at the end of the application. If making changes or revalidating, navigate to the EFT section, make the desired changes, and upload the required voided check or bank letter. When submitting the Electronic Funds Transfer Agreement, include the supporting documentation of either a voided check or bank letter. The bank letter must have the bank letterhead and be signed by a bank representative. In the body of the letter, the legal name of the organization as it reads on the IRS letter. If a sole proprietor, the account holder name must match the legal name registered with the Social Security Administration. If using an employee identification number, include a copy of the IRS letter. Whether routing or account number, partial numbers on any letter need to be corrected to be the entire number. Once the applications are complete, they need to be submitted. An electronic one through PAYCOS will automatically be routed to the MAC of your enrollment. The paper applications for those enrollments with Noridian can be mailed to the appropriate address for your state and jurisdiction. Links to those addresses are provided here. Thank you for taking the time to listen to our tutorial. Continue your learning experience by referring to additional recordings available on the Noridian website or YouTube channel.